CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to Houston. The San Diego Chargers at 4-6. They're coming off a bye. The Texans played in Mexico City on Monday, losing to the Oakland Raiders. They come in 6-4. Look at Mike McCoy. He's in his fourth year. Boy, Rich, they've had some very close losses this season.
Some heartbreakers, Kevin. Their problem has been their struggles late in games. They haven't been able to finish. 4 disappointing losses where they had teams on the ropes, including their last time out against the Dolphins.
The kickoff will come from Nick Novak as the Chargers won the toss. They've decided to receive. Burse lets it fly over his head, out of the end zone, touchback to the 25. It'll be 1st and 10, and there is a look at quarterback Philip Rivers. Rich making his 170th consecutive start today.
And he's coming off of a disappointing performance last time out against the Dolphins. Kevin threw 4 interceptions, but I do know this about Philip Rivers. When the chips are down, he's a player you can count on. He's always been a finisher and a guy that you can count on to play some of his best football late in the season.
It is the number 2 scoring offense in the NFL. With a 1st and 10. And a handoff to Melvin Gordon. Stuffed in the middle, hit by McKinney. Gain of 2 and up to the 27-yard line. The offensive line has struggled this season. Barksdale will need some help with the Texans' edge rushers. And running back Melvin Gordon is the 5th leading rusher in the league. 838 yards. And a look at the offensive coordinator, Ken Whisenhunt. 2nd down, 8. A nickel secondary for the Texans. Blocked by Dunlap. On the quick slant. They pick up a catch of 4 with Tyrell Williams right there. Boyer makes the stop in the Houston secondary. On the line for the Texan D, Jadeveon Clowney is coming off one of his best games. He's had a terrific season. Linebacker Akeem Dent replaces the injured Sermon. McKinney and Cushing inside, terrific. And of course there's Merciless out there. Kareem Jackson has been targeted the most in the secondary for the Texans. He's a veteran. He and Joseph have been starting corners since 2011. It's 3rd and 4. Gordon is open outside. Boy, he touches the ball a lot, but a good read on it right there is Boyer, who makes his 2nd tackle on that defensive series. It's a gain of 1 yard. They're shy of the 1st, and they'll bring the punting unit out there.
Kevin, the one thing you see when you study the film, the corners in this defense, they all tackle well. Whether it's Boyer, whether it's Kareem Jackson, Jonathan Joseph, they're willing to show up in run support.
Drew Kaiser will be punting to Will Fuller. Fuller is the fastest Texan. He's been timed at 4.28. He is a blur. As we mentioned before, the roof is closed, and so there is no wind inside the stadium, the home of Super Bowl 51. To the 9, the rookie Fuller from Notre Dame. Submarines his way, hit by a couple, including Adrian Phillips, who makes the stop. It's a return to 9 on a 59-yard Kaiser punt, which takes us to the Houston offense, and their quarterback is Brock Osweiler, coming off his best road performance, Rich, of the season down in Mexico City.
And Kevin, he has played much better at home for whatever reason. I mean, the numbers certainly reflect that. Completion percentage, yards per game, touchdown to interception ratio, all better here in Houston. Remember now, this is his 1st year in Bill O'Brien's system. He's been playing with a bunch of new players around him, and I think he's starting to settle in and feel more comfortable in the offense.
Osweiler is a starting quarterback in the NFL, 11-6, including a 7-game stint with the handoff right there. That 7-game stint with Denver. Miller takes it up the middle, brought down by Corey Toomer. Picks up 6. He's up to the 24. Let's talk about the line of the Texans. Dwayne Brown has been a steady influence on a line that has lost 2 starters this year. The emerging tight end, C.J. Fedorowicz, has been a factor. Pro Bowl receiver DeAndre Hopkins, a conversation throughout this game, hasn't really materialized the way he was thought to after a terrific season a year ago. 2nd down 4. Short drop, quick throw, and there's Hopkins, the juggling act, brought down by Perriman. Reels it in, brought down with a nice catch at the 43, picks up 19, and a Texans first down. Hayward with the stop.
Well, he sees so much double coverage. I mean, look at this concentration. I mean, he basically tips it with his left hand back inside so he can get 2 hands on the ball. Always had soft hands.
First down and 10, this is Miller. He's got a heavier workload. Legit was in there along with Square. It's a gain of 2. They're out to the 45-yard line of the Texans.
He is so good once the ball is in the air. He's a natural hands catcher. What I mean by that is he doesn't let the ball get in on his shoulder pads or his chest. Catches the ball so well away from his body.
How about last year, Rich? 1,500 yards receiving for the Texans.
111 receptions, 11 touchdowns. They have to find a way to get him touches despite the coverage.
It's a 2nd down and 8. Clark with the block off the door with his hands and almost picked off on the ricochet by Craig Mager. Incomplete. All right, let's talk about the Charger defense. On the line, nose tackle Damian Square starts for the injured Brandon Mebane, out with a torn bicep on IR. In the linebacking core, Denzel Perriman returns after missing a couple games with a hamstring. He's a hard hitter, as is strong safety Jaleel Adai, who returns after missing the last 8 games with a broken collarbone. With a look at John Pagano. 3rd and 8. Clark moved.
Little antsy. He's got his work cut out for him today, Kevin.
Number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Clark has started both the left tackle and the right tackle this season and playing with a hip injury today. And, of course, we talked about the edge rushers, Rich, of both teams. And Bosa is on his nose across the way.
Yeah, missed the first month of the season. I think he's a rare talent who can affect the quarterback. As we just saw, he can affect the right tackle. He's extremely disruptive. He can wreak some havoc off the edge with his power and quickness.
Hunt is in, 3rd and 13. Here is Fuller with blockers ahead. And nice convergence there by the secondary of the Chargers, hit by Mager and others, and Toomer. It's a gain of 7, not near enough for a first down. Osweiler will leave. Here comes the punt unit for the Texans.
Very few explosive plays when you look at the Texans on offense. Just 25 plays of 20 yards or more, which are the fewest in the league this season. You know, it's so hard to go 80 yards in this league in 10 to 12 plays each time out. They need some big chunk plays, and they've been hard to come by for Houston so far this season.
The terrific Shane Leckler punting for the Texans. Burse is back, trying to place it inside the 5. He cannot. 53-yard punt. 10:18 to play in the first. Here comes Phillip Rivers in a scoreless early start here in Houston. Some key inactives for both teams. Jatavis Brown, Brandon Flowers out for the Chargers. Simon Blue out for the Houston Texans. Simon has really been playing well at that linebacker. Chest injury in Mexico City, so gone. And Alfred Blue with a calf injury. He was backing up Lamar Miller with a pretty potent run game for the Texans. Each team has had it. Each team has punted. Second possession, 1st and 10. Play action. Rivers with some time and picked off by Boye. He got it, but a flag has been thrown. Did he push to get the position? Boye had an interception in Mexico City against Carr and the Raiders on Monday.
Prior to the pass, holding number 21 defense.
Yep. Wipe it away.
5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
When he's playing, the Chargers are going to see a lot of press, man-to-man coverage. They're going to have to be able to create some separation. You see Williams trying to do that. Kind of gives up on the route at the end. Boy, he's able to finish down the stem.
Boyer has been starting and has been highly rated. 1st and 10. It's Gordon with the lead block coming from Henry, the tight end, and that opens up a big hole. Boyer got a hand on him on the perimeter. 13-yard run for Melvin Gordon. He's out to the 37-yard line.
Let's take a look at the scouting report, Kevin. You think about the strengths of the Chargers offense. I think it's the communication. No one's better at it than Phillip Rivers at the line of scrimmage. The weakness right now is their pass protection. Rivers is getting hit way too much over the last 4 or 5 games. On the other side, you look at the Houston pass defense, their ability to get pressure on the quarterback in particular. And finally, if there's a weakness, I think it's their linebackers in coverage. I think they're vulnerable, as evidenced by the struggles they had last week covering the Raiders running backs.
By the way, we haven't mentioned Travis Benjamin. He missed the Miami game a couple weeks ago. He is in, bottom of your screen. And they go outside with a quick throw on 1st and 10. That's Tyrell Williams with a tackle made by Boyer and a 14-yard pickup on the play. And they take him to the 49-yard line.
There's all different types of slants. We see a 3-step slant. There's a good look at a 1-step slant from Tyrell Williams.
He's learning it quickly, Rich. Only a second-year receiver. Size, speed, he seems to have it all. Texans in the nickel, 1st and 10. Gordon stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Whitney Mercilus with a loss of 2 back to midfield.
Mercilus just splits a double team. He's playing really well, Kevin. And you think about this defense. The sacks and takeaways are down from the season ago. Obviously, a big reason why no J.J. Watt. But you look at Mercilus. He's picked up his production, as has Clowney on the other side. They present some real issues because they have 2 edge rushers that can wreak havoc from the right and from the left. Rivers is going to do a good job stepping up inside the pocket and helping both those tackles.
2 tight ends, 2nd down and 12. They come up the middle. They get away from Clowney. He flips it off to Gordon, who then is smothered on the play after a gain of 3 by Heath. And they take him down to the 47-yard line. Let's go for our first time today to James in New York.
A first for Goff. On the opening drive, Jared Goff leads a 6-play, 75-yard drive, capped off by a 24-yard touchdown pass to Tavon Austin. You better get that ball back, JB.
That he will. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon.
The #1 overall pick in the NFL, Goff.
Rams fans, Kevin, have been patient, waiting for the opportunity to see more of Jared Goff.
3rd and 9. They double-team Clowney. It's a crossing pattern, and it's caught there by Williams, who's hit by Boyer, and a gain of 5 on the play. Shy of the first down to the Texan 43, and here they'll come out again punting.
Well, you have to be able to cover all the crossing routes, and that's what you're going to see from the Chargers because they know it's a good concept versus all the man-to-man coverage that the Houston Texans are going to play. So it's going to take great communication, the ability to pass off those routes, but the Chargers and Phillip Rivers in particular love the crossing routes.
Kaiser will punt again. And Fuller is back at the 5. What do they tell you? Inside the 10, let it go, right?
Let it go.
Not that time. 6:29 in the first, 38-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. K Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
We're exactly 10 weeks away from Super Bowl 51 here in Houston. Again, the city hosting. They do a terrific job. Texans had 5 plays punt their first possession. Chargers have had it twice. They've punted both times. From the 5, 1st and 10.
Lock and yank! Lock and yank!
Punt in the backfield. Osweiler in the end zone. Underneath Fedorowicz, and he is brought down that time by the linebacker Denzel Perryman, gain of 8.
Let's take a look at the scouting report. You know, there's a bit of an imbalance right now when you study this Houston offense. They're very good running the football. They've been top 5, but the pass game production, they're just 30th right now averaging less than 200 yards a game. On the other side of it, you look at San Diego's defense. Their run defense has been a real positive this season. They've been in the top 5. And then they're thin at the cornerback position. They lost Jason Verrett early in the season. Without Flowers today, see if the Texans can take advantage of some of the inexperience in the secondary.
Miller is in, 2nd and 2. Got a block from Brown. He takes it for a first down with a burst of 5, and he's hit on the play by Corey Toomer and Torek Williams. He's out to the 18-yard line, a first down for Houston.
Well, I love when they pull these big tackles all the way around, and you just see the action right down at you. A little bit of a power play, and watch Dwayne Brown come in. He gets the kick-out block. Lamar Miller's running much better between the tackles.
Miller a block here. 1st and 10. Downfield, knocked away by Hayward. He's terrific. He's in the co-leadership of interceptions in the NFL as they swap that ball away. Incomplete. Hayward with the stop. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins, Kevin, has got to figure out a way to start beating man-to-man and double teams. I mean, he's seeing so much of it now. People are taking away DeAndre Hopkins, and players not named DeAndre Hopkins on that Texans roster at that wide receiver position need to pick up their production. There's not a lot of production opposite DeAndre Hopkins.
Nickel secondary. 2nd down and 10. Miller, who comes from Miami as a free agent, and then he had Bosa and a bunch of other guys there making the stop on a gain of about a yard. The commitment to the running game has been very evident, Rich, with this Texans offense. Over the last 5 games, they're running the ball very effectively in Houston.
Well, I think Bill O'Brien believes in it, and I think the other issue, Kevin, has been, you got a new quarterback who's had some struggles. I think they want to do everything they can to help him.
Good point.
And keep him in some manageable situations, especially on 3rd down.
They ran for 124 against Oakland on Monday.
This is where they've had their problems on 3rd down.
Braxton Miller in, 3rd down and 9, flag thrown. Boy, was he whacked on the play and hit by Ingram. What pressure on the quarterback, Osweiler, who played well against the blitz and pressure against the Raiders on Monday. Normally doesn't. His percentage is really low. It was pretty high, actually, on Monday, over 70% against Oakland.
Offside, number 56, defense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
That's on Corey Toomer.
Well, I think it's actually on Melvin Ingram right there.
Oh, right, exactly,
He
sure.
said 56, but I think it is 54, Kevin. You're right. He just jumped the gun just a split second. And that's going to be a challenge for Dwayne Brown. He gave up a number of pressures last week against Khalil Mack. He's going to have to play well because Ingram is a handful.
It's a 3rd and 4 for Brock Osweiler. Here comes Bosa. Slips by him, maneuvers nicely, gets it off to Miller, but shy of the 1st, and he was brought down by Corey Toomer on a gain of 3. But some nice footwork there by Osweiler to kind of avoid the pressure.
And Kevin, we talked about the challenges. That look at you see the double team there. Dwayne Brown, he wins his matchup, but on the other side, he struggled a little bit with the rookie Joey Bosa.
Leckler to punt, and Burris is deep back. Number 1 gross punter of all time in pro football history, who played at Texas A&M, Shane Leckler, former teammate of Rich Gannon's.
He was a great one in Oakland. He's been just a terrific and consistent performer for so many years.
Burris is back, hang time of 4.53, and they got there watching him, 54-yard punt. Here comes Phillip Rivers, 3:44 in the 1st on CBS. Little trip down the Buffalo Bayou. NFL fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLshop.com today and save up to 25% at the official store of the NFL, NFLshop.com. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, and our crew here in this post-Thanksgiving Sunday in terrific Houston, Texas. Teams have punted. 2 possessions for the Chargers, 2 possessions for the Texans, all punts from the 21, 1st and 10 for Phillip Rivers.
Neither offense can convert on 3rd down.
No. The running back is Kenneth Farrell.
Neutral zone infraction, number 90, defense. into the neutral zone, causing the tight end to false start. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Jadeveon Clowney.
At the top of the screen up here, you see Clowney's going to go first, and then the tight end, Hunter Henry, he moves afterwards, but clearly Clowney is the one that instigated the movement.
Texans, one of the least penalized teams in the NFL. They've already got 3 today. Here's a 1st and 5 pass looking for the tight end. And Kareem Jackson was covering the rookie out of Arkansas, Hunter Henry. And a flag again near midfield, thrown far sideline. Jeff Triplett.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 21, defense.
Second one on him.
5-yard penalty and automatic first down.
That's 2 on Boyer here in the first.
He'll learn to keep his hands to himself. He just grab that face mask of Williams.
Sound like you've heard that before yourself.
That's exactly right. You know, you look at this defense, Kevin, they've had 13 defensive pass interference calls against them, and that really speaks to the point that they do need to keep their hands to themselves on the back end.
Farrell in the backfield, 1st and 10. Nice play by Merciless. Comes through, losing 2. The Titans, the Bears with James in New York.
Kevin, 4 years in the making.
Better late than never. Matt Barkley's going to drop back and find Daniel Brown for the 7-yard touchdown pass. Like you said, JB, his first Chicago lead, 7-0.
Back to Kevin Harlan.
Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley?
Oh, wow, how about that?
I've seen it all.
He was a high pick by Philadelphia. Then has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle, Rich.
He's been a bit of a vagabond, Kevin,
Yeah.
bouncing around the league. Playing today, obviously, in place of Jay Cutler.
Charger offense comes in number 8 in the NFL, number 5 through the air.
This is where Phillip Rivers is going to have to be sharp, especially in these obvious passing situations. The Texans do a terrific job getting 5 defenders around the line of scrimmage. Romeo Crennel wants to create a bunch of one-on-ones against that big San Diego offensive line.
Nickel secondary second down 13.
They don't want to allow you to get double teams with their offensive linemen. That's what they do. They crowd the line of scrimmage. You see both linebackers walked up in there in those A-gaps between the center and guards.
Well, that's got to be disconcerting. 2nd and 13. Farrell with the block. They get it now to Inman, who is wrapped up on the play by Max Bulla and Jonathan Joseph on a gain of 5, and he's up to the 33.
This is a defense that really tackles well. And Kevin, the other thing is you can see that they understand the scheme. They know where they're vulnerable. They know what they're trying to do, and I think they do a great job disguising their intentions pre-snap. I think that's going to be important today against a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, who likes to change plays and protections at the line of scrimmage. Force Phillip Rivers to make as many post-snap reads as possible by not showing your hand.
Third down and 8 into the Texan nickel. Oh, he's wrapped up and devoured. Brought down on the play by Bernardrick McKinney, his 4th sack of the season. A top 10 tackler. And he just throws Rivers for a 7-yard loss to the 26, and the punting unit is out there.
You know, you look at the left side of this Chargers offensive line right now, Kevin. They're having a little bit of problem between Dunlap and Franklin passing off the stunts and games that they're seeing inside.
Rookie Drew Kazron at Texas A&M sends it to the rookie Fuller. Oh, and he is devoured at the other end. Joshua Perry was there. He's a top pick by the San Diego team, a 4th rounder out of Ohio State. The hang time was 4-5, so they got down there on a 52-yard punt with a 7-yard return, and obviously the ball was not in the hands of Fuller and picked up on the play by Robert Nelson, but retained by the Texans. Big play by McKinney. Timeout 1:27.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly. And by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
If you're looking for boots down in Houston, go to Pinot Ranch. You see great craftsmanship there. Some pretty good play by Clowney and the defense. Some good craftsmanship defensively for the Texans. They now get it after 2 possessions and 2 punts. Hunt in the backfield.
Hey, 54. New Mike to 54. Wide 80. What's up?
It's a 1st and 10. Akeem Hunt is out of Purdue. Nice hole. Shifty moves. And brought down by Adai. Swerves his way to the 44. 16-yard pickup. A Texan first down.
This is a good-looking run. You're going to see it up inside. But watch the block by Fedorowicz right here. I mean, he does a terrific job setting the edge and hooking Williams and allowing Hunt to get up on the second level.
Hey, Diamond, 56 Larry. Diamond, 56 Larry. Wide 80. What's up?
Hunt remains 1st and 10 for Osweiler. Good block there by Allen, the guard. Now he's being chased by Square, and Osweiler has to throw it away. Incomplete. We're looking at pressure by that defense, Rich, of San Diego, who are without today a very important segment of their interior line in Brandon Mebane.
Kevin, I think that is a significant loss when you look at the injuries that they've had this year. I mean, week 1, Keenan Allen, he goes down. And you look at Danny Woodhead, that's really affected them on 3rd down more than anything. Manti Te'o, Jason Verrett on the back end, he's a Pro Bowler. And then this one, to me, maybe the worst of all, Mebane. He's so disruptive inside, especially against the run.
On 2nd and 10, good tackle from the secondary, and there is Jaleel Adai. Comes through. Probably the most physical guy in the secondary. It is a gain of 3, and he's out to about the 46.
And just to pay off the graphic, Kevin, you look at Brandon Mebane and what he meant to this defense. I mean, you talk about being strong down the middle for a defensive coordinator like John Pagano. Mebane brought experience, some toughness, really some leadership to that entire defensive line.
They've lost Te'o. They lost Verrett. And Verrett, like you said, was a Pro Bowler. My goodness. Well, that's going to conclude the first quarter. We are scoreless in Houston. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Watching the NFL on CBS.
Back in Houston, Wednesday on Survivor, a special advantage comes into play for the first time ever. See how it can change the game. Wednesday at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. So a lot of punting so far. 3rd and 7 coming up as we start the second quarter. There's a look at Brock Osweiler, turned 26 this week. Said he spent Thanksgiving quietly at home, walking the dogs. He and his wife. 3rd and 7. Grimes in the backfield, 5 in the secondary, and he goes underneath, and it's caught by Steven Anderson with his 5th catch of the year. Mager makes the stop. Gain of 8 on 3rd and 7. They get the first down to the 45 of San Diego.
Well, if you're the Chargers, you better pay attention to these Texans tight ends, because that's really where Brock Osweiler wants to throw the football. We know Fedorowicz was targeted a career-high 10 times last week. Griffin's got 30 catches on the season, and even Steven Anderson, who was a receiver in college, has come in and done a nice job working inside.
Miller is in, 1st and 10. Griffin trying to give a block, Fedorowicz a block, and then he is finally taken down by Corey Toomer after a gain of a couple down to the 43 of San Diego.
It's always important to start fast. You look at this San Diego defense, Kevin, they've done that most of the season. I mean, they've not allowed a first quarter touchdown in their last 7 games. They've really done a nice job teeing up their offense.
I'm under.
Good run defense, too, for San Diego. The 21st overall in defense, but 5th against the run.
And that's probably the area where they've made the most improvement from a season ago. Run fits are better. They're tackling better as a unit.
56. Orange. Go.
He's got a 2nd down and 8. This goes to Lamar Miller. Trying to work behind the block of the center, Greg Mance. He picks up 4. He's inside the 40-yard line to the 39 of San Diego with a look at defensive coordinator John Pagano.
Just check out the improvement. 125 yards a game on the ground last year. They've gotten that number down to 87 yards a game, and that's a difference of 38 yards a game, which is the largest improvement in the league this season. It speaks to the job I think that John Pagano has done with this run defense.
Rich, they've also got a takeaway in every game. The only team in the NFL that can say that. Get that takeaway.
San Diego.
Timeout taken by the Chargers. A 3rd and 4 coming up. We step aside. Mike McCoy has dug himself out of a 1-4 hole. They've won 3 of their last 5. They're 4-6. His defense out there now facing the Houston 3rd and 4. Grimes has missed the last couple games with illness. Is back there. At the quarterback, Osweiler, who fields a low snap, then goes deep. He's got Fuller at the 5. He works on Craig Mager. A 33-yard strike and a flag has been thrown. Back at the 37.
Offside. Number 99 defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is first down.
Fuller is number 4 among rookies in receiving yards. Picks up 33 right there.
For some reason, the defensive ends, outside linebackers are getting a little jumpy for the Chargers. You see Boza, he jumps the gun, but this is a really good-looking throw by Brock Osweiler. You see the release and just a good job giving the receiver a chance to make a play on the boundary. Osweiler struggled throwing the deep ball. Not that time to Fuller.
1st and goal at the 6. Miller hit by Perriman. Inside the 5. Picks up a yard. And by the way, Mager is starting for the concussed Brandon Flowers in the Chargers secondary.
I think as a quarterback, Kevin, you always keep track of that and try and go after him and find out where Mager is early in terms of his ability to hold up in man-to-man coverage. This is an area of the field where the Texans have struggled offensively in the red zone. They're just 29th in red zone production. They're settling for way too many field goals in this part of the field.
2nd and goal at the 5. Miller with the block to the end zone and incomplete. There's a flag on Hayward, who is trying to tangle with the Pro Bowl wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins.
And this is what the Texans love to do. They love to throw the fade route to Hopkins in this part of the field.
Defense, number 26. The ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. First down.
Hayward was signed to be the nickel from Green Bay as an unrestricted free agent, but they've had to move him to corner.
Good position. He's got that hand in there, but he's got to let go at some point. Just a little late to do that. Hopkins is such a good jumper in the back of the end zone.
4 defensive backs. 1st and goal at the 2. Prosh is in. Miller. No sign yet. They say he's shy. He could not carve his way in. All kinds of people there making the stop. Lowry was in there along with Perriman and Perry. 2nd down and goal.
Perriman got some penetration. Initially forced Miller back up inside.
Kendall Lamb has been put in by Bill O'Brien. He is another offensive lineman. He'll be on the shoulder of the right tackle, 63. 2nd and goal. Oh, he's all 6'7", lunging in for the touchdown. Brock Osweiler with his 1st rushing touchdown as a Texan. Long drive and well executed by Osweiler.
Kevin, you mentioned Osweiler's height. You might as well use it in that part of the field. You know, typically taller quarterbacks aren't the best when it comes to the quarterback sneak, but Osweiler tries a little something different. Rather than going low, he goes high. Just nothing more than going up for a rebound.
Which he did in high school while growing up out west. He was a terrific high school basketball player and probably could have played both in his days at Arizona State. Here's the extra point try now from Nick Novak, a former Charger. It's 7-0 Houston. They got a 16-yard run from Hunt, a 33-yard pass to Fuller. Then the quarterback Osweiler with a 1-yard touchdown leap for the Texans. Well, the Houston Texans coming off a short week. They played Monday in Mexico City. Come in, Rich, they've won 3 of 5. The defending AFC South champs have won 6 consecutive games at home and 5-0 this year in this building.
They're undefeated at home in the preseason as well. It's just something about playing here. Kevin and Bill O'Brien told us on Friday that the energy, he was really concerned. He wanted this team to really come out and play well early in this one, coming off of that disappointing loss in Mexico on Monday night.
Isaiah Burse on the Novak kickoff, and he swerves his way for a pretty good run. Robert Nelson brings him down. Nelson leads the Texans in special teams tackles. It's a return of 27. 170 consecutive starts for the quarterback in his 13th year, Philip Rivers.
Well, you know, Kevin, I've got great respect for Philip Rivers' body of work, but in particular his durability. I don't know that there's a tougher quarterback in the game. He's never missed a start in 13 seasons. I mean, that's almost impossible. I think back to, you know, that playoff game against the Patriots in 2007 when he played with a torn ACL. I mean, you know, it's a lot of times he goes out there and plays even though he's not 100%. I think that speaks volumes of not only his toughness, but his character and his passion for football.
Extra lineman is in. Kenny Wiggins, left side, 1st and 10 handoff. Attempts the stop on Gordon. There was a flag thrown on that 1st and 10.
Offside defense, number 94, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Let's go to New York, and here's James Brown.
Ajayi.
Oh, those tricky Dolphins. Tannehill's going to find Jay Ajayi on the dive pitch for the 7-yard touchdown. I'm sorry, the 2-yard touchdown run from the J Train. His 7th on the year, 7 all.
Kevin, I don't know if this applies or not, but for Rich Gannon, what were the 49ers thinking? Back to Kevin Harlan.
You're right, JB. I have no idea.
1st and 5. Gordon with a block by Fluker. Flag is thrown. There he goes. Melvin Gordon. Another flag is thrown. After they tripped him up in the secondary with Jackson and Hal. It is a 20-yard run, but flags on the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, number 90 in defense, lined up in the neutral zone. Holding, number 12, offense. Those penalties by rule offset, replay, first down.
Wiping out a 20-yard run by Melvin Gordon.
You know, it's amazing to me, Kevin, the number of times we've seen defensive players either line up in the neutral zone or jump off sides. It's a problem right now for both teams.
Rich, you're talking about Philip Rivers, who told us a couple days ago he watches every pass he throws a couple months after the season ends.
You know, that's amazing, Kevin, to go back and do that. I just think it shows you the attention to detail. And one thing he did say is that not a lot of good things happen when he leaves the pocket.
No.
As he studies himself on tape. He's much better from the pocket, obviously.
There's a 1st and 5, and it goes underneath, and it's bobbled and dropped, as you saw, by Hunter Henry. They have a lot of hope for this one. He's taking the place of Antonio Gates, the Mackey Award winner from Arkansas. Henry.
Yeah, you're just going to see him come out of the backfield, but just watch how wide open he is. I mean, look at this area out here. He's going to run forever. If he just catches it, he may score.
What about what the running backs of the Raiders did against the defense, especially the linebacking core?
I think that's a matchup, Kevin, as you point out, they have to take advantage of. The running back and the tight ends against these linebackers of the Texans. They're a little bit vulnerable inside when it comes to covering the pass.
2nd down and 5. He hitches up here, and it's incomplete, looking for Inman. With pretty good coverage downfield by the veteran Jonathan Joseph. With another flag. It's at the 38 on the near sideline. Yeah, the Raiders got him with running back yards through the air, 199. Monday, Mexico.
Hands in the face, number 21 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Third on Boye.
Well, he didn't listen to me, Kevin. I told him earlier in the game, keep your hands to yourself. You know what's amazing to me, though? You look at both of these teams. These are 2 of the least penalized teams in the game. The Texans have 53 penalties, tied for fewest in the league. And look at the Chargers. They have just 59 penalties, tied for 3rd fewest. And yet this first half has been littered with penalties on both sides of the ball.
6 penalties on the Texans, 5 on their defense. Rivers 1st and 10. Underneath, and he goes right here to Williams, who is brought down by the linebacker McKinney out of Mississippi State. It is a gain of 4. He's up to the 40 of the Chargers.
Kevin, you mentioned the conversation we had with Philip Rivers on Friday. I got a kick out of the fact that he talked about his admiration for players like Brett Favre and Peyton Manning. You know, Favre obviously for his toughness, Manning for his ability to find a completion despite the chaos and clutter around him. And I think that's the beauty of Phillip Rivers. I don't know there's a better quarterback in the game throwing from a congested pocket. His feet and his demeanor so steady and calm in the pocket when there's chaos around him.
Nothing affects him. 2nd and 6. Gordon finds a small crack and works his way through, and he bursts for 5, and McKinney brings him down near the 45. He's shy of a first down by about a yard.
And Kevin, when you don't miss starts and you play as long as Phillip Rivers has, you're eventually going to continue to climb up the ladder in terms of the all-time leaders. And look at that completion percentage. He's always been good in that department. 301 touchdowns already. And he's not done. I mean, you look at him, I still think he's in the prime of his career. He enjoys it, and he's still playing terrific football for the Chargers.
And has the admiration of everyone who faces him.
He is a handful.
3rd and 1, trying to submarine for the first. I think Gordon got it. He did, hit by a couple, including Merciless, and they'll give him the first down. We asked Rivers what he did on his Thanksgiving time, and he had the bye week, of course, like the rest of the team. He said, well, I hung out at home. I took the kids out of school and drove them up to Knott's Berry Farm.
That's what all the NFL quarterbacks do.
Then he said, I organized a flag football game for everybody.
Well, he's got enough kids to put together a pretty good team, and a great family man. And
yes, he is.
It's great that he was able to spend some time with his kids around the holiday.
1st and 10. Archdale the block at the right tackle. Comes it off on another cross, which talked about this before. Williams gets it. Chased out of bounds by Demps. He picks up 2. He's to the 48. Let's go back to James in New York.
Giants finally scored against Cleveland.
No, Marcus Mariota finds Delaney Walker for the 4-yard touchdown catch. Mariota is perfect on the day, 7 for 79 yards. Tennessee takes the lead 14-7.
Hey, Kevin, as I come back to you, this does apply for Rich. JB, what were you thinking?
JB, what were you thinking? And maybe the Giants did score. By the way, where would the Texans, or rather the Tennessee Titans, be without Delaney Walker, Rich?
Yeah, he's been terrific this year, Kevin. No question about it.
2nd and 8. Another block by Barksdale. Oh, he's got his receiver. This is 6. Dontrell Inman. 52-yard touchdown pass by quarterback Phillip Rivers. Woo! He got separation on that one. Demps was beaten.
Well, Demps gets fooled, Kevin, with the double move. You're going to see he's going to go up, he's going to stutter, and then he goes right by the safety, and Demps is playing with his eyes in the backfield. Watch him jump, watch him bite on this, and that's all it took for Dontrell Inman. He's become a terrific route runner and a trusted receiver for Phillip Rivers. Well done, very patient at the top of that route.
In the wake of no Stevie Johnson and no Cumberland and no Keenan Allen. They had the youngsters Inman and Williams step up. Here's the extra point. It is put through by Lambo. 52-yard touchdown pass. Rivers to the 3rd-year wide receiver out of Virginia, Dontrell Inman.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hanes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Garmin Fitness, let's beat yesterday.
The San Diego Chargers answer the 1-yard touchdown leap of Brock Osweiler with a 52-yard touchdown pass. Inman, who beats Demps, thrown by Rivers. We are tied at 7. First place, Houston, 6-4. And the Chargers, who have won 3 of 5. And Akeem Hunt, he'll keep it in the end zone. To a knee, to the 25-yard line we go. The touchdown pass by Rivers, his 21st of the season. On November 18th, Texans cheerleaders spent the evening with 300 local children and ran through football drills and cheered them on. They also helped stress the importance of getting 60 minutes of exercise a day, all a part of the Play 60 campaign. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, we're in Houston after Thanksgiving, the busiest travel day of the year, they tell us. So we hope wherever you may be and what airport you may be watching, safe travels to you and family. After the 52-yard touchdown pass, it's 1st and 10. We're tied at 7. Play action, Miller the block, and they go outside. Nice catch made by Notre Dame rookie Will Fuller. Working on the sideline, and he picks up 13 on the play. Trevor Williams was defending.
Well, look at the pickup first. This is terrific. You see the fullback Prosh. He gets up in there, gives Osweiler a nice clean pocket. This is a really nice adjustment by the rookie Fuller on the boundary. Fuller has that explosive downfield speed that you love at the wide receiver position.
Caught that 33-yard pass last possession.
Opposite, 52 opposite, 52. Charge.
1st and 10 in the nickel. He looks into and hands off to Lamar Miller. He digs his way through and into the grasp of Denzel Perriman. With a gain of 7 on the play up to the 45-yard line of Houston.
I've really been impressed, Kevin, with what I've seen from Lamar Miller. He's closing in on 1,000 yards this season. You know, I mentioned he's been much more deliberate, more downhill, not looking to bounce everything to the edge, willing to smack it up in there inside, and that's really what they teach here in Houston. One cut, they want you heading downhill in a hurry.
2nd and 3.
Go.
This is Lamar Miller. Prosh with a nice block. He slipped through Bosa. He was whacked by a die, and he picks up 4 on the play. Miller has been, as they get up to the 49, imperative for this Texans team, Rich, to have that first place position in the AFC South. Now, with the Indy loss on Thanksgiving, a game and a half up on the Colts in the South.
Yeah, it's been really a 3-horse race. You look at the Tennessee Titans, they're an improved football team, Kevin. You look at the Colts, they played on Thursday night without their starting quarterback, Andrew Luck. This division will probably go right down to the wire.
Agreed. Oh, and he got by Niftali that time. Ingram on 1st and 10, and it's picked off. Did Hayward get it? He did indeed. What a pick! Casey Hayward, number 1 in the NFL in interceptions. The former Packer just picked off Osweiler.
Kevin, I mentioned the 2 or 3 decisions that he's got to clean up. He sees the pressure, then he gets outside. But if you're going to make this throw, you have to be able to use the sidelines. I mean, this one sails back inside on him. And that is just a poor decision by the quarterback.
You heard me say they have a takeaway in every game this season, Rich. Only team in the NFL to have it. There's another one right there. And interception number 6 for Hayward.
Sometimes the best play, sometimes the only play is to throw it away and live for another down.
Hard to do, though, isn't it?
It is. They're so competitive. They feel that they can make that throw. Just another foot to his right, and maybe DeAndre Hopkins can make the grab. Hopkins can also help him, Kevin, by continuing to work back down the sidelines to the quarterback.
On a change of possession, it is automatically reviewed, and that is what the holdup is right now. There is no need to challenge. They're automatically reviewed on change of possession turnovers.
Question is, does he get both feet in? I think he does. I think he's got control of it with
sure
that
does.
right hand. It's a terrific play by Hayward.
Benjamin, top of your screen. Gates in motion. Nothing yet to him. 1st and 10. Rivers. Nice leaping catch made by Inman, who is snared by Jackson. 15-yard pickup. A 1st down for San Diego to the 48 of Houston.
Well, Rivers is off to a terrific start. 10 of 11, Kevin. And the one incompletion was a drop. 104 yards and a touchdown. Texans have to do a better job moving him off the spot. Make him slide and adjust in the pocket. And you've got to really, in the back end, you have to be in very tight coverage because Rivers doesn't need a large window.
No, you're right. 1st and 10.
Sees Dents coming down around the line of scrimmage. You see Rivers change the play.
Here they come with the blitz. He got away from McKinney. Gets it off to the very quick Travis Benjamin, who's brought down by Boyer and Demps on a gain of 8. And he takes it down to the 40-yard line of the Houston Texans. Tonight, can Alzheimer's be prevented? A groundbreaking study and the unlikely place 60 Minutes went to find it. Tonight, only CBS. Casey Hayward, the pick, 6th of the year, tops in the NFL, first-year Charger. From Green Bay, 2nd and 2. It's Gordon. He's trying to throw a block, but Kenny was right there to make the stop. A gain of a yard, close to the first down inside the 39-yard line of Houston.
You know, Kevin, I mentioned earlier about Philip Rivers, the communication that goes on pre-snap at the line of scrimmage. I think he is fanatical about the details because he knows just how important it is that everyone be on the same page. And the thing that's great about Rivers and what you get with his experience is his ability to change plays. He's not going to waste a play. We saw on the previous snap, the safety Quentin Demps rolled down around the line of scrimmage. Rivers changes the play and throws a quick screen to the left, right over top the safety.
3rd and 1. They brought in Will Fork, and there goes Gordon, stiff-arming his way into Demps. Down the sideline and near the 20-yard line. 19-yard, hard-earned by Melvin Gordon. It's a first down, and the Chargers again on the move.
Just keep an eye on Brian Cushing. I mean, I think he needs to go in the other gap, and that creates a big rushing lane for Melvin Gordon. Look at Cushing. He takes it on with the left shoulder. He needs to take that one on with the right shoulder. He needs to keep his upfield shoulder free and clear so that he can make the stop on Gordon. Talk about the importance of run fits. That's a great example of it right there with the veteran, Brian Cushing.
Gordon with 39 yards. He's had 3 100-yard games this season for San Diego.
And he just needs a small crease. I've been so impressed. Kevin, you can make the argument Melvin Gordon may be the most improved player in the league this season.
It's a good argument. 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning here in Houston. Coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher scores, news, highlights from our CBS studios in New York. The Verizon Halftime Report next. 1st and 10. Long run. Gordon at 19 sets him up. Rivers 11 of 12 throwing. To the end zone. Touchdown! What a strike! Tyrell Williams, 21-yard touchdown reception from Philip Rivers. Hayward was the one to pick it off, and the Chargers cash in on the interception thrown by Osweiler.
Well, think about this, Kevin. If you're the Texans, you're thinking about Antonio Gates in this part of the field, but watch the post route come in over the top of the safety, Demps. He steps up inside. That opens up an opportunity in a lane for Philip Rivers to throw the post route over the top to Williams. Great execution, great design from the Chargers. You talked about the importance of finishing drives in this part of the field. It's been a bit of a struggle for the Chargers, and it was an area of emphasis during the bye week.
Lambeau the extra point, making it 14-7 San Diego. With the touchdown reception, Williams has caught his 5th. The pickoff by Hayward, a big one, his 6th of the year. Rivers goes over 3,000 yards this season with a 21-yard touchdown pass to Tyrell Williams.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. And by PayPal. A better way to pay is here. PayPal is new money.
Ninfa's Tex-Mex ice-cold margaritas, sizzling fajitas. Ninfa's on, sitting outside. Weather has just been gorgeous here in Houston. Gorgeous couple touchdown passes thrown by Philip Rivers.
They've done a really nice job attacking the secondary, particularly the safeties of the Houston Texans.
San Diego has scored 14 unanswered points. The ensuing kickoff is over Hunt's head out of the end zone, 25-yard line. Touchback, it will be a 1st and 10 for Brock Osweiler, who threw the pick the last time out there.
Well, the Chargers scored so quickly, Kevin. They've left plenty of time on the clock for Osweiler in this Houston offense and 3 timeouts.
Brock today, 7 of 11, 91 yards. Threw the pick. Coming in, he is second to last in quarterback rating in the NFL. Comes off his best road performance of the season last week in Mexico City. 1st and 10. Grimes in the backfield. Bosa trips, and the throw is away and caught by Braxton Miller, the former Ohio State quarterback. Brought down by Adrian Phillips. It is a gain of 7. Flag.
Holding, number 74, offense.
So uncharacteristic for this Houston team, which has been near the bottom in being least penalized
10-yard penalty
all season.
Repeat
Well, he
first down.
steps out, and then Bosa's going to beat him inside. Watch his first step. Watch that right foot. He oversteps, and then Bosa beats him quickly up inside. I mean, Osweiler's got no chance. And right now, you look at Chris Clark. He's got no chance. He needs some help blocking Joey Bosa. That's why they move over Fedorowicz, to give him some presence there off the edge.
And they bring the free safety Lowry in the box on a 1st and 20. Bosa pushing the pocket and brought down by Square. Damian Square out of Alabama. It's the first sack for the San Diego Chargers. The first this season for Square, back to the 8-yard line.
And I just said they need to get some help, and then you're going to see Square. He's on the inside, but it starts really with Joey Bosa, who comes off the edge, and that forces Osweiler to step back up inside, and when he does, Damian Square is right there for the sack.
Damian Square is from Houston. He went to Yates High School. He used to play as a kid where this building stands right now. This was a parking lot next to the Astrodome, and this is where he and his buddies used to play. And sure enough, here he is, back in Houston, back in his hometown, with a sack as he starts for the terrific Brendan Mebane today.
That's where he learned to rush the passer, right in the parking lot.
2nd and 27. Brandon Mebane is out. Tore the bicep last week, gone for the year. With a handoff to Grimes, who gets a block in the play from Allen, and then is tripped up by Adai. Staggers ahead, gain of 9, timeout San Diego, 1:34 in the first half. 14 unanswered points by the San Diego Chargers on 2 long touchdown passes by Phillip Rivers. Here's a 3rd and 18 coming up now.
3rd and long, Kevin. If you're a defensive player, I think you have to think screen or draw in this situation.
It's Grimes with the handoff and a nice tackle made by Darius Philon. And a gain of 5. Here come the boos cascading down. You have 3 timeouts, Rich, and they chose to play it safe and go with the handoff, and they got a punt.
Well, San Diego has no timeouts left. I think it's one of the reasons why they ran the ball in that situation, try and run the clock down. And last thing you want to do is give Phillip Rivers more time here at the end of the half. Phillip Rivers is red hot right now, Kevin. 12 of 13 for 133 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Shane Leckler to punt, his 233rd consecutive game played, longest active streak in the NFL. They can run the clock down to 50, or 48 in this case, or 49 if they caught it in time, which they did. So a timeout taken by the Texans. They're down to 2. And they come in to this game, Rich, 6-4. First place in the South, unbeaten at home, where they're 5-0. They've won 2 of 3, 3 of 5. Osweiler and the Texans have won 4 of 7. And if they win today, it's a franchise record, single season, 6 consecutive wins in the same season at home.
Well, they need to make some adjustments defensively, Kevin. They're not getting enough pressure right now on Phillip Rivers, and that's a real problem. I mean, if a guy like that gets comfortable in the pocket, it could be a long day for the guys on the back end.
Right around the shins, that long snap, and there's a nice punt for Leckler. It's taken by Burst back at the 15. Hang time was only 3-8, so that's why he's got some time to maneuver. And then he was brought down in the play by the defensive back, Corey Moore, among others, on a 61-yard Leckler punt and a 4-yard return. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Coward. Scores, news, highlights. Football didn't get any better than after Thanksgiving because now the screws are tightened. All those highlights coming up next in the Verizon halftime report from New York.
This is really where the good teams begin to to make their march towards the postseason. They play their best football. A penalty.
Oh, they'll do it again. There was a penalty flag thrown back at the 27-yard line. There's an illegal receiver downfield, I'm assuming. It was late. There was a conference, and each unit was out there already, so they now have to leave the field, readjust, and punt again.
I know this sounds crazy.
Well,
but I know.
Let me hear it first before
before you make judgment.
Right? Yeah.
But I just the knowing Shane Lechler, sometimes I don't know if I want to give him another shot at it. You know what I mean? He is such a good punter, Kevin. You mentioned the last one, not a lot of hang time. Check out this one.
He's a terrific athlete.
He
was
so
a
good.
Great high school athlete.
The longest streak. I remember when it started. I remember when he was a young pup coming out of Texas A&M.
They drafted he and Janikowski with high picks in Oakland. Lechler from Texas A&M wobbles down. First has it 38. They're going to get some yards on this one.
Oh, yeah.
With a broken tackle and a good return, and then he steamrolls someone at the 49. It's an 11-yard return. Don Jones makes the stop on a 45-yard Lechler punt. 28 hitting yards because of that penalty favoring San Diego. And Rich, now, even though, as you just said, they've got no time, they've got good field position.
Yeah, they're just one completion away from being in field goal range. I should say one Phillip Rivers completion away from being in field goal range. I mean, you pick up 12, 15 yards here. You've got enough time to still clock it. Give your field goal kicker a chance before the half.
No timeouts remaining. Josh Lambo, the second-year kicker from Texas A&M. And he's on the sideline. 6 in the secondary for the Texans.
There's a false start again by Clowney.
And this is caught by Williams, who is brought down inside the 40, swerves for 14, takes it down to the 37. As you see, the flag was thrown.
Offside, defense number 90. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is first down.
Clowney's watching the center. His eyes are inside, and as soon as he sees the center lift his head, he's going. But he's got to watch the football, and he knew right away he jumped the gun. Can't do that with a quarterback like Phillip Rivers. He knows he has a free snap.
Again, no timeouts for San Diego. Got the ball on the 36. Rivers will throw it out of bounds. In the vicinity was Williams. He was chased by Jonathan Joseph. Second down.
Now with 9 seconds, Kevin, on that last play, they could have afforded to throw the ball quickly over the middle and still ran up and clocked it. But with 9 seconds left, I think you really have to use the boundary. You don't have enough time to clock it.
Lambo's career long is 54, so they're right about where he can boot it. And this is right about where he in pregame was hitting him with consistency. Second down 10.
You see the leverage, the outside leverage, trying to force the receiver inside.
Rivers is going. And it's incomplete.
Phillip Rivers is so smart. He knows that he can't take a sack in that situation.
So here is Josh Lambo. He's been great inside 40.
He's been perfect inside 40.
Yes, he has.
27 of 27.
The holder is Kellen Clemens. It used to be the punter, Drew Kaiser. Had some issues there. Backup quarterback will hold. 54-yard field goal try by Texas A&M's Josh Lambo, and he is wide left. No good. Time gone. We're at the half. And Phillip Rivers has thrown 2 touchdown passes in the first half of 52 and 21 yards. And the Texans got on the board in a 1-yard touchdown leap by Brock Osweiler. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
And they'll say that's right. You're not That's right, you're not from Texas. That's right, you're not from Texas. Texas wants you anyway. That's right.
Oh, he's got his receiver. This is 6.
That's right, you're not from Texas. Texas wants you anyway. So won't you let me help you?
We love coming to Houston. Let's take a look at the first half fresh start presented by Febreze. Quarterback Phillip Rivers going 52 the long way. They beat Demps. He's got Inman with a quick 6. Phillip Rivers was terrific with a couple of touchdown passes in that first half. Rich, 13 of 16. He's breathing easy in the pocket.
He's been fresh.
Yes, he has.
You know, in all seriousness, though, Kevin, you look at him, and I always say it's important to affect the quarterback early in this game, and they really haven't done that. He's been way too comfortable back there in the pocket, and that's what you don't want with a guy like Phillip Rivers if you're Romeo Crennel and the Houston Texans on defense. They've got to do a better job getting up the field, forcing him to make quicker decisions from the pocket.
And these games are so important. Let's talk about adjustments now for both the teams in the second half.
Well, you have to anticipate that the Houston Texans are going to try and come after Phillip Rivers with some more pressure, some 5- and 6-man pressure. San Diego has to do a good job, continue to do a good job, keeping Phillip Rivers clean because he's on a roll right now, 13 of 16. For the Houston Texans, their struggles on the early down have been a problem. You talk about the cumulative effect. They're not doing a good enough job on first down, and that's putting them in some really big numbers on third down. They have not been successful on third down. A big reason why, Kevin, is that it's all been 3rd and 8+.
Did somebody give you that fresh line, by the way? Was that just off the top of your head?
Phillip Rivers right now is fresh.
You've become everything you despise in the media business. First place, Houston, 5-0 at home, 6-4 overall. They've won 2 of 3. The Chargers at 4-6. Rich, 9 of the 10 Charger games this season have been decided by 8 points or less. That's second in the National Football League to Detroit. And they've been in close games, lost most of them. It's taken by the defense, or the running back, Akeem Hunt, in the end zone to a knee, touchback to the 25, and a 1st and 10, and through 30 minutes of football, these are some of the numbers.
Well, I think the Texans, Kevin, they've got plenty to clean up at halftime, but how about the mental errors? I mean, the 8 penalties, that's a season high already. We're just through the first 30 minutes of football. They got to get that straightened out. Phillip Rivers doesn't need any more help on the offensive side of the ball, but I think offensively, first down is going to be really important. They need more production and more consistency on the early downs.
Mike 52, Mike 52. White 80.
It's a 1st and 10, Lamar Miller jumping on him as a dive. He is a hard hitter, comes from the secondary, first game back after missing 8 with a broken collarbone. No gain in the play, Rich. They stay at the 25.
Well, you have to make sure you have enough hats so you can block everybody. And Adai, they don't even block them. I'm screaming off the edge. The back has no chance.
2nd down and 10. Perriman back too. He missed the last couple games with a hamstring at the linebacker. Griffin with the block, the tight end, and from behind they get him with Bosa. Miller knocked down, losing 2, and back to the 23-yard line.
They're going to have to start throwing on the early downs because what's happening is, just watch, you're seeing a lot of 8-man front football. Look at all those white jerseys around the line of scrimmage. And when you get a team that's committed to stopping the run on 1st and 2nd down, that's when you've got to change it up and take some shots down the field. Challenge John Pagano and these corners. They're not doing a good enough job of that on the early downs.
Hunt in motion, 5 in the secondary.
Run it twice on 1st and 2nd down and come up with these 3rd and longs, Kevin. It's tough on a quarterback like Osweiler.
With a 3rd and 12, blocked by Clark. Up the middle to go. Hopkins found the seam and brought down on the play by Lowry on a 3rd and 12. They get 17, and it's a gain up to the Texan 39.
This is just simple. I mean, just runs a little slant route inside against Mager. That's a good throw by Brock Osweiler. Got to get DeAndre Hopkins going, Kevin. He's been quiet, just his 2nd catch today.
He's been quiet for the year.
There's a safety again. You see him top of your screen.
Fake to Miller on 1st and 10. Up the middle they go with another shot to Hopkins, who's brought down by Perriman. When you've watched the tape on Hopkins and the offense, why are the numbers so dramatically lower this year than last?
Well, I'd say a couple things. You've got a new quarterback. And I think the other thing, Kevin, is people look at the Texans and they say, let's take away Hopkins and force the quarterback to go somewhere else with the ball. You look at the lack of production. You look at the wide receiver group combined. Just 106 receptions coming into today's game. That's just 29th in the league. You look at Hopkins' numbers, not quite what they were a year ago.
With the 1st and 10, they're looking for Hopkins right there. The coverage on the play by Casey Hayward, who had an interception in the first half. 2nd and 10.
I always think it's important. Your job as a play caller is to find a way to get your best players touches. And the Texans, you look at the first half, they haven't done it. Fedorowicz, Kevin, he was the go-to guy. He has just one catch in this one. Hopkins, we mentioned, just a couple catches. They've got to throw the ball a little bit more on 1st down.
Miller on 2nd down and 10. Led by Trevor Williams on the play, and Corey Toomer with a gain of 2. Now, Osweiler played for Denver, we know, and started 7, was 5-2. That was in the AFC West, so the Chargers have seen Osweiler before.
And Osweiler went back, Kevin, this week in his preparation. He went back and studied those Denver-San Diego games from a year ago to see what defensive coordinator John Pagano did to him. He said a couple times Pagano got him with some zone pressures that he didn't see coming. Well, they're coming after Osweiler.
It's a 3rd down and 8. They come off the edge. He gets it out to Griffin, the tight end. Big hit by Adai. It's a gain of 2. They stop him again. They had to get down to the San Diego 40. They could not. It's 4th and 6. The punting unit and Leckler take the field for Houston.
Well, in talking with John Pagano the other day, he said that Osweiler's got a slower, slow delivery. And with quarterbacks like that, I think if you can pressure them up inside and get them off the spot, you can greatly affect his delivery and his accuracy. And we're seeing that already from the Chargers.
Craig Mager was coming off the edge, providing the pressure. Leckler to punt. Burse is back and signals for and is allotted the fair catch back at the 7. 39-yard punt. The offense is cooking. They got Gordon and they got Inman playing big roles.
Podcast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Rich, we were coming in talking about how really Rivers and the Chargers have got to win from this point on. They're 4-6, no breathing space in the West.
And Kevin, in critical games, you need your best performers to step up and play well, and that's what we've seen so far from Philip Rivers.
After the Texans punt, 1st and 10 from the 8. Watt is in motion, the younger brother of JJ, the fullback, right there, 34.
Look at him direct traffic.
It's Gordon on 1st and 10. Watt trying to give a block, and boy, there's not a lot of breathing space. Cushing was over there. They throw him for a 1-yard loss, back to the 7. Rivers in the first half, terrific.
It was great, just good clean pockets and his ability to slide. Just that 6 inches is enough to buy some time. This is a big play to Inman as he double moved the safety Demps and then a post over the top. And what's happening in the red zone is we're seeing the Texans double Antonio Gates, and that's freeing up the players outside the numbers, Williams and Inman, to get those one-on-one matchups.
We told you earlier that Rivers has gone over 3,000 yards for the 11th consecutive season. Amongst the best in pro football history. 2nd down, 13. Hunter Henry. Grabbed by Cushing and by McKinney. They make the stop after a gain of 8. Hunter Henry wearing a knee brace. We had a knee sprain not too long ago and missed a game, so he'll be wearing that probably the rest of the year.
The Chargers got out to kind of a sluggish start in the first couple possessions. You look, couple 3-and-outs. We always talk about how they're demoralizing to an offense, but look at after that. 3 straight possessions where they're able to come away with points.
6 in the secondary for Houston. 3rd and 5. Dunlap the block, crossing pattern, which they've hit all day long. Williams. And he spins his way into the grasp of Dempson Boyer on the 3rd and 5. They pick up 6. Kareem Jackson makes the stop. It's another first down, some breathing space to the 18.
This is an old West Coast play. It's called flanker drive, and you're going to see, Kevin, we talked about the crossing routes and ways to beat man-to-man. Gates is going to get upfield, and what happens is that makes it difficult for the defender. He has to go over the top to make that coverage, and that's just asking too much for Kareem Jackson.
Tyrell Williams had 5 catches against Miami, has 8 today. The leading receiver. It's a first down. Melvin Gordon. Big hit by McKinney right off the bat. Gain of 3, the leading tackler for the Texans, brings him down to the 21. Get the CBS Sports app for inside access to breaking news and expert analysis of your favorite team. It has everything you need. Download the CBS Sports app today. 2nd and 7.
The Chargers have been so good out of the half. 5 opening drive touchdowns to start the second half, tied for most in football. Talk about the importance of making adjustments at the half.
Lazar Swass in the center. He's made a difference on that line. 2nd and 7, going deep, looking for Benjamin, and there was a lot of traffic back there with Kareem Jackson on one side and Demps on the other. Incomplete, 3rd and 7.
Kevin, we've been talking about Clowney. He's having a solid season. It took him a while to get going because he wasn't healthy coming out of college. Couldn't bend his knee that first 2 seasons or even turn the corner with that speed rush.
Look at that Antonio Smith come in there with the big rush. Smith signed in late September. 2nd stint with the Texans. 3rd and 7. And again, 6 defensive backs. Rivers. Back shoulder throw for Williams and out of bounds on the chalk. Incomplete. Boyer was over there with Jackson. Incomplete pass.
Boy, clearly that's a matchup that they like, Kevin. You look at Williams on Boyer. You mentioned the penalties. He's had 3 already, but he's struggling a little bit in man-to-man coverage against these taller, longer receivers of the Chargers. So one thing you get with Williams, he's a bigger receiver. Boyer not able to turn around and locate the throw.
Drew Kaiser. Fuller gets it out of bounds. Out of bounds he runs with Adrian Phillips forcing him across the way. Fans didn't like. Flag thrown at the 36. Maybe a late hit. Was he on the chalk?
It was close.
It was.
You just have to be disciplined as a defender to pull off. Get a good look at it. Phillips there. He's going to hit him just as he gets out of bounds. Now they looked at it. They wave it off.
Personal foul.
Maybe not.
Kicking team, number 31. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Adrian Phillips from Garland, Texas. We'll pick it up, 7:36 to play in the 3rd quarter. Big penalty here against San Diego. Osweiler gets it when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated.
Rich Gannon spent a lot of time at the water wall yesterday. Taking pictures of himself, a lot of selfies.
Oh, it's a very calming place to be, Kevin. This is where I go and meditate before these games. Gotta get my mind right because I sit with you for 3.5 hours.
Get in line. After the punt and the penalty, 1st and 10. Lamar Miller. Melvin Ingram got him, 2nd leading tackler on this defense. There is no gain in the play. They remain at the 48 of the Chargers.
I just think the Chargers are daring the Texans to throw the football on 1st down. I mean, if you're going to commit 8 defenders down around the line of scrimmage, that means you have one-on-one outside. Somebody, whether it's DeAndre Hopkins or Will Fuller or Braxton Miller, somebody's got to win a one-on-one matchup.
Into 5 defensive backs, second down 10. Osweiler incomplete, looking for Hopkins, coverage by Lowry. Flag near sideline.
Holding. Defense, number 42. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
On the rookie free agent out of Penn State, Trevor Williams. We take you to New York and James Brown.
Jacksonville in front.
Blake Bortles going to drop back and find Marquise Lee for the 20-yard touchdown pass. Jacksonville takes the lead, 14-13.
Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon.
They took advantage of Corey Graham in the single coverage.
52! Got it there!
Blake Bortles.
You scratch your head,
Love
don't
that
you?
guy.
I know. Yeah. First and 10. Here comes Lamar Miller. Big hole into the secondary. The ball was coughed up. It's picked up by Williams. Now they're saying it's down. They say he was down at the 23. Lamar Miller has not fumbled this season, and he's carried it a lot. It's a gain of 20 and a first down.
Just watch at the end here. Good tackle. That ball's coming out. They tried to jump the ball. They tried to snap it before Mike McCoy could throw that challenge flag.
It's out there now.
Timeout. San Diego. They're first.
And there's a
30-second
penalty
timeout.
flag at the 13-yard line on the far side of the field. So we've got a red flag and a yellow flag.
That was a really nice tackle, Kevin, by Dwight Lowry. Watch him go low. The guy that usually goes low usually wins.
It
San
looks
Diego
loose.
is challenging the ruling on the field. Down by
Challenged by the San Diego Chargers on the loose ball with running back Lamar Miller.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. The runner fumbled the ball and was loose, recovered by number 42 of San Diego at the 21-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 6:47. 6:47 on the game clock. San Diego is not charged a timeout.
Well, good tackle by Lowry. Mentioned you go low, you usually win that battle, and he's able to knock it out, and the rookie Trevor Williams is there to scoop it up. But what I don't understand, Kevin, as we looked at another shot, Melvin Ingram is running off the field, and the officials actually threw a flag.
And nothing on the flag. 2 turnovers by the Houston Texans today. Interception by Hayward, fumble by Miller. First and 10. Melvin Gordon stuffed. A lot of traffic in there, not a lot of breathing space. Christian Covington and the defense. 1-yard loss.
Well, keep an eye on Melvin Ingram. You have to assume that they've got 12 on the field. He's trying to get off there. They snapped the ball, and he's not off the field. So now you got to say, was the red flag out in front of that, or that crew needed to do a better job? Jeff Triplett and his guys need to do a better job explaining that as to why they picked up the flag.
Second down 11. Rivers and caught by Williams. And then he's faced with a bunch, including Cushing, after a gain of 3. Boyer and a flag at the 11.
Holding, number 74 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Orlando Franklin. Chargers 4-6 with a 1-4 road record coming off a bye. After beginning the season 1-4, they've won 3 of 5. Have a lead here against first place Houston. 2nd and 21. Good block by Dunlap. The side and hauled in, caught by Inman right in front of Jonathan Joseph. It's a gain of 12. He's up to the 22.
This is a really good looking throw. Just watch the pocket and watch how congested it gets from Phillip Rivers' right side. Actually where he's thrown, he steps up and he's able to keep his momentum and make a terrific throw. Jonathan Joseph is in great position to make that play. That's just too good of a throw from Phillip Rivers.
Almost the only place that he could have completed it, right, Rich?
Oh, that's a perfect throw, Kevin. He brought the receiver down the boundary away from the corner waiting inside.
3rd and 9. Rivers moving up as he does so well. Deflected and picked off by Demps. Off the fingertips of Williams. The first turnover by San Diego. The ball will be at the Charger 38. Demps comes up with his 2nd pick of the year.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon. And by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Brahma Bulls. We got a couple Brahma Bulls running the ball today in Miller and Melvin Gordon. Pickoff right there of the Rivers pass.
That really says it all right there. Look at that, 23 giveaways this season, the most in the NFL. He had been a killer. They've come at the most inopportune times. A lot of them, ironically enough, Kevin, have come with a lead.
First and 10. Nice catch. Fuller right in front of Craig Mager. 7-yard pickup on a laser thrown by Brock Osweiler. They'll put him at the 31.
Well, Fuller's going to be a good player once he figures it all out. He's still learning the intricacies and the details of playing the position at this level and in this system, but he's got excellent burst and acceleration. He's made some big-time catches so far in this one.
Alert! Alert, alert! 52! 52!
2nd down 3.
180! What's up?
With Miller in the backfield, here's what a great read right there by Joey Bosa. It's a loss of 5. They're back to the 36. Bosa may be in the running for NFL. Maybe he is in the running for NFL Rookie Defensive Player of the Year.
Watch how quickly Bosa just fires inside. You look at the left tackle, Brown. He steps outside. The left guard steps inside Suafilo, and there's nowhere for the back to go. I've really been impressed, Kevin, with Joey Bosa, not just in terms of his ability to rush the passer, but how he shows up in run support as well.
Team's game plan for him now. 3rd down and 8.
And new Mike 20, new Mike 20. You gotta go. Charge, go.
Free safety now is the Mike, the middle linebacker. Here comes Osweiler. 3rd down and 8. He's got Hopkins right in front of Hayward. He's down to the 30. Make it the 28-yard line. Very close to a first down. Very close.
Check out this grab by DeAndre Hopkins. He never uses his right arm or right hand. He's going to catch this with his body and his left hand. His right hand he's battling with the corner, Hayward. Watch this. He just traps it with his chest and his left hand. Look at his right hand. He never gets the right hand back in there on the football.
Hopkins has 4 catches today. They're going to give him the first down.
That was a huge catch from Hopkins.
Prosh is the fullback. 1st and 10. Miller. Out by Perriman. Look at him breaking tackles. Taking it to the side and brought down by Melvin Ingram. 11-yard carry and a first down to the San Diego 17.
Well, I really like teams that still carry a fullback. Watch Prosch get the kick-out block and then the one cut from Lamar Miller. And then you're going to see a couple missed tackles. That's going to be the key. They need to, this is an offense we talked about, Kevin, that's committed to running the football. Got to make sure that Lamar Miller's getting his carries here in the second half.
Miller closing in on his second career 1,000-yard season. Had one 2 years ago in Miami. First and 10. Osweiler moving up. Pressure everywhere he looks, but he dumps it off to Miller. Makes a good move, getting right by Toomer. And out of bounds with Perriman pushing. And an 11-yard catch and run near the 6-yard line. That should set up first and goal.
This is a really nice job by Brock Osweiler, stepping up in the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field and the ball in a throwing position and avoiding the sack. You know, we say there's going to be 3 or 4 times every game, Kevin, where something bad happens around the quarterback position. And in those situations, can you make a play? Osweiler did it.
Two tight ends, first and goal at the 6. Miller runs to that side, and Damian Square jumps on his back, taking the place of Mebane. Throws him for a 3-yard loss, back to the 9.
Talking to Mike McCoy on Friday, he said, what a terrific opportunity without Brandon Mebane in there for Damian Square. Played well, Kevin. Been busy in there. He's taken a lot of double teams. He's done a pretty nice job getting up the field and creating some push on the pocket as well.
Braxton Miller is in the backfield with Osweiler. Second and goal at the 9. The former Ohio State quarterback, an offensive player of the year in the Big Ten, and brought down by a die. Gain of a yard. That's it. They stay basically where they were, maybe inside the 9, closer to the 8. That may be the final play of the third quarter. It'll bring 3rd and goal coming up, taking us to the 4th. 14 unanswered by San Diego and Phillip Rivers. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Chargers have no room for error. They've got to actually win out. Houston in first place, game and a half up on the Colts and Titans. Now it is a 3rd and goal at the 8. And on third down passing today, Osweiler 7 of 7. And 4 first downs.
And to the Chargers, Kevin, you got to keep an eye on DeAndre Hopkins. 21 third down receptions this season. 19 have moved the chains.
Grimes in the backfield. Hopkins on top, as you just saw. Osweiler. And caught by Fedorowicz and hit on the play by a couple, including a die.
They wanted to throw it to Hopkins, but the Chargers doubled him, and so Osweiler held it long enough until finally he pushes it to Fedorowicz in the flat.
Casey Hayward was there too with a big hit in stopping him. So now it is 4th down, 19-yard field goal coming up for Nick Novak. He was born in San Diego, played with the Chargers from 2010 to 15. And attack on 3, and he does, with a new game in Houston. We're early in the 4th on CBS. The Charger defense does their job as Houston Rich had it 1st and goal at the San Diego 6, and they got to settle for a field goal.
John Pagano's got to be just thrilled, Kevin. That's a win there to get a stop in that situation, hold him to 3. His defense has played well, not giving up the big plays, which has been a problem for this Chargers defense.
With a kickoff, and Farrow along with Burse are back. Burse on a knee to the 25 and a touchback, which will bring out Rivers, first down and 10. Week 12 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. And tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN And Westwood One Radio, Boomer Esiason and I will be in Philadelphia for the Packers and the Eagles on Monday Night Football.
Check out that graphic. I mean, a little unusual that Antonio Gates doesn't have a catch. In fact, hasn't even been targeted in this game. He is commanding a lot of attention, especially down in the red zone where the Texans have chosen to double team him.
1st and 10. Rivers dumps it off. Gordon hit by Boyer, whacked by McKinney. Gain of 5. They take it to the 30-yard line. Let's go to James in New York.
Miami looking to make it 6 straight.
Yes, Ryan Tannehill drops back, surveys the field, and finds Kenny Stills, who does some fancy footwork on the sideline, takes it in for the 43-yard touchdown. Miami leads 24-14.
Hey, Kevin, I'm working hard so Richard won't put me up on his show saying, what was JB thinking?
Never a chance, JB. Never a chance.
2nd and 5. Melvin Gordon. And McKinney brings him down, but a first down run to the 39. He picks up 9. And Gordon today, 11 carries, 46 yards. Miller today, 18 carries and 56 for the Texans.
Melvin Gordon, Kevin, looks like a completely different player from a year ago. I really think it boils down to the confidence. And he really started the season so well on the road in Kansas City. And he's just, you look at the production that this guy has had this season.
DJ Reader, by the way, is playing the middle of that line from time to time. Right now being looked at with a shoulder injury. We don't know if he'll return. 1st and 10. Gordon. There's a block by Dunlap. Boyer with the tackle. Flag is thrown. He gets a gain of 2 to the 42-yard line, 41-yard line.
It's usually a hold. Took a while for that play to develop. Might have gotten King Dunlap.
Holding, number 77 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Rich, all 6 San Diego losses have been one-score games. They've lost more late leads than any other team in the NFL. Can they hold on today with a lead?
Well, they've not been a good fourth quarter team, Kevin, as you point out. They've been outscored 105-61 in the fourth quarter. We talked about the importance of finishing late in games. It's a big reason why they are 4-6. They haven't been able to finish teams off when they have a lead. I always say, if you let a good team hang around, bad things happen.
And they have for the Chargers. 1st and 20. Benjamin in motion, 5 in the secondary. Rivers got some blocking from Barksdale. He's got Slauson for Melvin Gordon as they lead out to the 40 and brought down by Cushing on a 10-yard pickup. Lot of motion, lot of moving parts on that play to the 39.
You know, you consider all the injuries that the Chargers have had at the running back position. We're seeing more of Gordon on 3rd down. He's not getting the rest that he usually gets because of all the injuries that they have had. Danny Woodhead went down early. Brandon Oliver in training camp. Dexter McCluster. They signed Ronnie Hillman this week. We'll probably see him next week. They've been pretty banged up. They've got a rookie in there right now in Kenneth Farrell.
From Hurst, Texas. Played at Houston. 2nd down and 10. Dunlap the block. And incomplete. With the coverage, Joseph climbing on Williams. No flag on the play, even though Williams is asking for it. Nice coverage by Jonathan Joseph. Incomplete. 3rd and 10 for Rivers.
Jonathan Joseph is such a pro. We really enjoyed our conversation with him on Friday. He does all the little things right, Kevin. He's always in position. He's a great tactician. And I think he understands the big picture. So good at situational football, understanding down and distance, understanding splits. He's a very consistent player for Romeo Crennel.
3rd and 10. Rivers caught Inman, and he's got the first down. He was working on Jackson, a gain of 11 on 3rd and 10 with a crumbling pocket, and the Chargers move the chains.
Well, Dontrell Inman's their most consistent route runner. I think it's also a plus that he understands all 3 wide receiver positions in this offense. He just makes sure he gets his depth Gets to those first down markers and then just sits it down in the hole for Phillip Rivers.
Very consistent play. Big conversion by Rivers, 1st and 10. Fake to Gordon. He's hit once. He's hit twice. And Rivers at 34 finds space and downfield for Inman, who's drilled by Jackson with a flag thrown. Rivers dancing free to find room. And at 34, he looked like he was moving like he was 24.
You know, we don't think of Phillip Rivers as the most elusive guy in the game, but that was something.
25-yard pass as it stands right now to Dontrell Inman.
You know, Phillip Rivers made the comment to his teammates earlier this week. He said, guys, we signed up for 16 of them. We're going to play them all. Check out this effort. You don't think this game's important to Phillip Rivers? Keeps 2 hands on the ball in the pocket. And he's not a big scrambler, but that was a terrific play.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 25 defense.
Led with the helmet.
Half the distance
Cannot do it.
Automatic first down.
And he'll be fined.
Really nice job by Inman, making himself available, taking a friendly angle back to the quarterback. You can really see the growth from Dontrell Inman. Talked about him being their most consistent route runner, Kevin. That was a terrific job by him towards the end of that play.
Rivers has been sacked once. Osweiler, who worked out with Rivers back at UCLA and the year he was taken out in the draft, and Rivers offered him a lot of good advice, he said. Gordon is in, 1st and 10 to the end zone, and scooped up. That is a touchdown! Hunter Henry has grabbed his 5th of the year. Rivers has thrown his 3rd touchdown pass of the day to his 3rd different receiver.
Oh, this is not even a play action, but watch the linebacker, McKinney. He's going to step up for some reason, and Phillip Rivers sees it the whole way. McKinney's late getting back to his drop zone, and Rivers is able to fit the ball in behind the linebacker and in between the 2 safeties. Boy, a good safe throw by Phillip Rivers. Low and away.
Yeah. Heir apparent to Antonio Gates. Still walking with the limp. The brace is on. The knee injury kept him out a couple weeks ago. The Mackey Award winner from Arkansas. A 2nd-round pick and a rookie. Hunter Henry has scooped one home. And Rivers has thrown 3 touchdown passes today. The extra point away and through, and it's 21-10. Inman had catches of 25 and 11, and then Rivers found Henry in the end zone.
You are watching the NFL on CBS.
Well, we've got 2 quarterbacks. Clearly the one on the left has the experience, but he also has the ability, Kevin, to make plays when things break down around him. We haven't seen that yet from Brock Osweiler. He needs to step up here now in the 4th quarter and start making some plays. He's going to get a lot more opportunities now that they're trailing by 11.
Hunt will retrieve it and to the 25 with the touchback. One guy's making plays, one guy is not. Big game. Post-Thanksgiving, every game matters. 9:52 in the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Kay Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with Kay.
Texans in first place in the South have won 5 games at home. 6 in a row, 5-0 at home this year. Let's see if they have some of that magic right now. Down 21-10. 1st and 10. Fake to Miller and a pass to Fedorowicz, who's hit by Lowry and clubbed by Mager on the play. And he gained 16 yards to the 41.
Well, you get the play action fake, and then you're going to see Fedorowicz is down the middle of the field. Good hold, good squeeze on those linebackers. Talked about the importance of throwing the ball more on 1st down. and getting the tight ends involved. Kevin, they've been quiet today.
Not all season, Rich. They've had a big imprint on this offense. First and 10. Intercepted and picked off by Lowry. Another interception thrown, and now the weaving return, and finally taken down by Fuller. Here come the boos. Osweiler's thrown another pick, and Lowry just picked him off. The 9-year veteran out of San Jose State returns it 25 yards the other way, and a flag has just been thrown.
You can't fault the decision, Kevin. The protection was good. This ball just sails on Brock Osweiler. He's trying to fit the ball into his tight end, C.J. Fedorowicz, but...
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 20 and number 37, choreographed demonstration. 15-yard penalty, still a first down for San Diego.
Lowry's first pick, celebrating with the die. It's the third turnover today for the Houston Texans.
Well, look, he's got a hole, he's got a window there, but he's got to drive it. Instead, he sails it over his 6'6" tight end.
And his tight end was open. 9:04 in the fourth. Tonight on CBS, one NCIS Los Angeles agent is being targeted, and the conspiracy puts the whole team in danger. Don't miss a new NCIS Los Angeles tonight after 60 minutes. Only CBS. 2 interceptions of Osweiler. First and 10, Melvin Gordon. To the 46, McKinney the stop and a gain of 3.
Well, turnovers have been a big story today. You're not going to win a lot of games when you turn the ball over 3 times. The early interception from Osweiler on the sidelines by Hayward. How about Lowry? Able to knock it out. Trevor Williams scoops it up, and then finally an overthrow late down the middle. Another big play by the safety, Dwight Lowry.
Second down, 7. Rivers, incomplete. High for Tyrell Williams, and he's in pain. With the coverage on the play by Joseph and Demps.
Kevin, when you look at how Houston is struggling offensively and get back in this game, they need something big to happen from their defense. Their defense has to come up with a big turnover or a big play in the kicking game. Big punt return. They need some type of spark, because it's certainly not coming from their offense here in the second half.
Texans in first. 6-4. Home 5-0. Third and 7. Burse replaces the injured Tyrell Williams. Good pocket. Low throw, and grabbed on the far side by Jeremy Butler, who just checks in. He picks up 6. Second catch as a Charger. He's worked with an injured ankle. Close to a first down, put him at the Texan 47.
I don't think they snapped the ball here. I think they're trying to draw him off sides. I'd be very surprised in this situation if the Chargers go for it on 4th down.
4th and 1.
No snap, no play. Well, there's no way in this situation, Kevin, you try and go for it here.
But eat up the clock,
11-point lead. Well, run it down and take the penalty and punt the football. Good job by Houston. They know what's going on as well. They're going to sit in there and not take the bait.
Delay of game, offense, number 17. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That was a good effort, good try by Ken Wisenhunt and Phillip Rivers. It's doing their due diligence. They understand the situation in the game. You're at midfield. Got an 11-point lead.
How about this Charger offense, Rich? Since Ken Wisenhunt has taken over, they're at number 8. Rivers is on path again to have another sensational statistical year. They've lost a lot of weapons on offense, yet he continues to produce.
I think the biggest number, Kevin, they're second in scoring. They're averaging over 29 points a game.
With the punt here by Drew Kaiser. Fuller watches it land in the end zone. It goes to the 20 on a 50-yard punt and 7:06 in the game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about. And by Subway. Try the classic Reuben, stacked with corned beef. Limited time only.
At the Johnson Space Center here in Houston, you can see a Saturn V rocket and much more. Look how big that's.
I don't know about you, but that looks expensive.
It does.
And a lot of horsepower.
Think of the brain power that went into doing that. With the 1st and 10, it's a handoff to Lamar Miller, trying to go up the middle. Legit and others there, stuffing him. Perriman, gain of a yard. Booz come down to the 21-yard line. 2 interceptions thrown by Osweiler. 1 fumble by Miller. They're down by 11.
Well, chance, Kevin, to go from being the GOAT to the hero. You've got a little over 6.5 minutes to go in this game. You're down by 2 scores. Let me see what you've got. Let me see it right here.
2nd down, 9, blocked by Brown up the middle. Fedorowicz. He's got the first, tumbling into the grasp of Perriman. Tumbles ahead to the 33, picks up 12. 1st down, Houston.
There's got to be a sense of urgency now as you see him jump the ball. Sometimes when you're struggling a little bit in the passing game, going no huddle can help a quarterback like Brock Osweiler.
Into the nickel, 1st and 10. Braxton Miller. He breaks the Mager tackle. Then he is hit by Trevor Williams and brought down after a gain of 12. He's up to the 45. Another 1st down for the Texans.
Kevin, you and I got a chance to see Terrell Pryor last week. And it's not easy going from being a quarterback to a wide receiver. I got great respect for what Braxton Miller has done so far in the NFL. He's learning a new position.
1st and 10 throw here by Osweiler. If he can get it away. He's being chased by Legit, and he throws it down the sideline away and incomplete. So 2nd and 10. The Giants, the Browns with James in New York.
A D lineman's dream.
Jonathan Hankins applies the pressure, gets the ball up. JPP snatches out of air. What a great sign of athleticism. Takes it all the way in, 43 yards for the touchdown. Giants up 26. The extra point was missed.
Kudos to Braxton as well, too, Rich Gannon, but you were a pretty good athlete. Back to Kevin Harlan.
Well, James is all over it.
He is.
Huh? He is all over it.
Oh, no, Kevin, we're going to see Cleveland win a game this year or not. Jeez. Staring at 0-12.
2nd and 10. On the move, Hopkins from behind, hit by Hayward. Boy, they're moving here. 16-yard catch and run from the terrific DeAndre Hopkins to the 39-yard line of San Diego.
The toughest thing to do physically is rush the passer in this league. And I think what you're seeing is the Texans jump the ball a little bit, and that's taking some of the edge off of that San Diego pass rush.
1st and 10. Going deep, looking for Hopkins. It's thrown out of bounds, uncatchable with the coverage by Hayward.
Kevin, I talked about the struggles that Brock Osweiler has had throwing the deep ball. And sometimes, especially on throws to his right, the ball has a tendency to sail and land out of bounds. I mean, you got to give your best receiver a chance to make a play. That ball's 5 or 6 yards off the playing surface. I had a coach one time that told me when I did that as a young player, he says, never in the history of football has a ball that's been completed out of bounds ever counted. Give him a chance.
Sounds like Bob Schnelker.
It was Bob Schnelker, you're right, in Minnesota.
2nd and 10. Crumbling pocket, incomplete. May have been going for the tight end, Griffin. Lowry was on his heels. 3rd and 10.
You want to know why quarterbacks miss throws high? Because they don't bend. Talk about Osweiler, 6'8". If there's not enough flexion and bend in his lower body, the ball has a tendency to sail. We see it a lot with Joe Flacco, the Ravens, another tall quarterback.
Rich, now you begin to think of the clock, your timeouts, and thinking about a field goal. It's an 11-point game.
The 5th time today, Kevin, they've been in this situation, a 3rd and 10 or longer.
Grimes is in.
What's up?
Into the nickel. Blocked by Brown, the left tackle. Osweiler being chased. Bosa! Got him! Only a 1-yard gain. Joey Bosa with a big play. He's been disruptive. They get to the 39. It's 4th down.
Just watch the effort by Joey Bosa. This is what you love about him, Kevin. He doesn't take plays off. Check out, he's going to lose his helmet, right? But watch the effort here at the end. He saves a first. That would have been an easy first down for Brock Osweiler.
He lost his helmet, but he didn't lose his head, and he stuck with the play.
That's what you love about their first-round pick. And you know what's happening now is he's commanding a lot more attention. You're seeing teams slide the line and chip Bosa and double him.
How about this? They're going for it, and San Diego will take a timeout. Rich, it's 4th and 9, and out of field goal range. So now they're going to think about it. 4:34 to go. Coming up next, Cam Newton and the Panthers take on the AFC West leading Raiders. Or the Patriots will play the Jets. Yes, Brady is active and Gronkowski active. Check local listings. Joey Bosa has 7 tackles, a half sack, and an incredibly disruptive afternoon on the defensive line for the Chargers.
And remember now, he missed most of training camp the first month of the season. He's getting better and more comfortable each and every game.
How about this important play? 4th and 9. They need the 29. Osweiler. Pocket crumbling, gets away. And in and out of the hands of Miller with the coverage by Trevor Williams on downs. The ball goes to San Diego, and their defense, Rich, holds them again.
You know, just from up here, Kevin, it looked like it was terrific coverage. Go ahead and roll it. You look at the man-to-man. Everyone's playing man-to-man. You see the safety come down. Now go ahead and freeze it right about here. I mean, where are you going to throw the football? There, he's covered. He's covered. He's covered. He's in position. He's in position. That's just great coverage on the back end by the Chargers. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to uncover versus man-to-man.
Remember now, in this second half, Houston had a goal to go at the 6, had to settle for a field goal. There was a 4th and 9, and they went for it and couldn't convert.
Well, San Diego has really stepped up and played well defensively, Kevin. You got to tip your hat to the job that those guys have done on that side of the ball.
With a couple tight ends, Melvin Gordon 1st and 10 into the secondary. Brought down by the linebacker, Bernardrick McKinney. It is a gain of 7 on the play to the 45. What about Joey Bosa today?
Well, we've been talking about him, Kevin, getting better and more comfortable in the scheme, and with each rep he gets, he plays with great effort. That's what I love about him. I think they're trying to move him around some so he's not always in the same place. You know, you don't want teams to be able to zero in on him and take him out of the game, but just a terrific effort a couple plays ago, finishing and getting the sack, or getting the takedown, I should say, of Brock Osweiler and saving a first down.
2nd down 3. It's Gordon. Oh, continues to turn. He's got the first down. Picks up 5. He's still on his feet and brought down initially by Cushing on a gain of 8. And he just broke their will and maybe their backs on that run. It's a first down run, 3:31 in the 4th. Timeout. After the timeout, 1st and 10. Gordon. Grabbed by Joel Heath and others with a gain of 4 in the play. To the 43. Another timeout. And it's taken by Houston. They've got 1 remaining. J.J. Watt has been sidelined since the middle of game 3. Back surgery on his disc. He has come back to Texas, we're told, from Wisconsin where he was. And his younger brother is in this game. There's Derek Watt, a rookie out of Wisconsin. He and Melvin Gordon were the combination in the backfield for the Badgers. And there's another brother, a younger brother, TJ, who's a sophomore at Wisconsin playing.
Big win yesterday of the Gophers.
And no tuition paid by dad. 2nd down at 6. There's a run by Gordon, and he continues to push the 5. He picks up 5. There they are, down to the 40-yard line that game.
Yeah, you look at that. You know what? I think the one common theme with all of them, Kevin, is they love football. They play with great energy and passion. starts with JJ. I mean, you talk about the loss of JJ Watt, the sacks and the takeaways and the disruptive plays are way down from a season ago when you study this Houston defense. I think his presence alone frees up others to make impact plays. They've had to really adjust without having JJ Watt in there. Clowney's played better. Mercilus has had an impact. But today, this defense was just on the field way too much.
The two previous 3rd and 1s today for San Diego. It's been Gordon running. Let's see what happens here with a couple tight ends. 3rd and 1. Whoop, Clowney moved. Up, timeout taken by San Diego.
San Diego, they're second.
So they've got one left
timeout.
with 3:17 to go. Look at Mike McCoy. He was a college football quarterback at Long Beach State. He played in practice squad football. He played in Europe. He played in the Canadian Football League in his 4th year. There's been a lot of talk whether he will survive this season, losing close games after having a couple good seasons to begin his career.
Well, Kevin, I think a lot depends upon what happens the next 5 weeks. They've got Tampa Bay next week. Then they travel to Carolina. They've got a couple divisional games. Oakland in week 15. The Chiefs in week 17. They've got a game in Cleveland. I think a lot depends upon what happens over the next 5 games.
That was a 3rd and 1.
We got Vince Wilfork, I think, for moving.
Well, you can't
False
stop
start. Number 76, offense.
Fluker.
5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So now 3rd and 6 as that's called on the former number 1 pick out of Alabama, DJ Fluker. Antonio Gates has not caught a pass today. He had in 77 straight coming in. What they tell us, was it last time we went like this through 2011? Was that the last time he caught a ball? Wow.
I was going to say in 8th grade, but
well, he's going to be in Canton someday. He's very close to surpassing Tony Gonzalez, our Tony Gonzalez. 3rd and 6. Bouncing is Gordon. Hit on the play by Mercilus and Demps. Losing 3. And the Texans cannot stop the clock. And a punting situation arises for the Chargers on 4th and 9.
Well, the last time we saw the Chargers punt, Drew Kaiser just blasted it to the end zone, and special teams coordinator Craig Ackerman was over there on the sidelines telling them we need better. The good punters in this situation, Kevin, you got a lot of green grass to work with. The good ones can pin you down around the 10.
Well, he's done it a couple times today inside the 20. Remember, they let Cypress go after 13 years. They drafted Kaiser in the 6th round out of nearby Texas A&M. And a penalty, a delay of game, pushes him back with 2:30 to go. Texans out of timeouts. Chargers have 1.
They go for the block. See them all coming in.
Fuller is back.
Got to do something to be able to create an impact play here in the kicking game.
Kaiser, plenty of time. He'll pooch it.
That's a good kick.
It sure is. It's going to die at about the 13-yard line. Well placed. 38-yard punt by rookie Drew Kaiser. Saturday, Florida takes on number 1 and unbeaten Alabama in the SEC championship game on CBS. It all begins with CBS College Football Championship Saturday. And college football today. Adam Zucker will take you through the pregame right up to kickoff. And then it'll be Vern and Gary. And Allie LaForce. No timeouts, 1st and 10. That's caught by Griffin, I think, as he trapped a little bit. Gains 7 yards on the play out to the 20-yard line. 2nd down. The clock is going to stop at the 2-minute warning, which will be the final stoppage in terms of what the Texans can do. Did not get it off in time. 2-minute warning. A couple interceptions thrown by Osweiler. Timeout. Rivers today, 3 touchdown passes, 242 through the air. He felt responsible for that last loss against Miami a couple weeks ago, Rich.
Yeah, I think he was disappointed, obviously, Kevin, in his performance. It's tough to keep a good man down like Philip Rivers. He came out, he was red hot, especially in the first half.
2-minute warning, no timeouts. Texans down by 11, 2nd and 3. Osweiler. And deep is where he goes, almost picked off right there. They were going for Fuller, and it was almost swiped by Williams, the rookie free agent out of Penn State.
He's trying to fit this one in. Again, double coverage, and rookie's helping over the top. Kevin, you look at the Texans' offense, they have a little bit of an imbalance. They're a top 5 rushing team, and yet in the passing game, they're just 30th. They're averaging just a little over 191 yards a game through the air, and even today, Osweiler's throwing the ball 30 times just for 214 yards. If they can't improve throwing the football, they won't make the playoffs.
3rd down 3, and Tennessee is leading right now. We're talking about that, and that's out of bounds because the pressure was so astute. And all kinds of pressure right there, including from Christopher Landrum, the rookie free agent from Jacksonville State. First time we've said his name today, coming in and providing some pressure on the quarterback.
Getting some fresh bodies out there, some guys that can rush the passer. You mentioned it's the hardest thing to do physically, to do it over and over again. You saw Joey Bosa. He was over there a couple series ago getting some oxygen on the sidelines.
It's 4th and 3. And he's got the first and then some. Long strides brought down by Phillips. He's up to the 40-yard line with no timeouts on a 20-yard run.
This is the one thing a quarterback can do versus man-to-man coverage when you have all the backs turned to the line of scrimmage.
1st and 10. Underneath there they go, and Griffin makes the grab. And then grabbing him is Corey Toomer on a 15-yard gain and another 1st down.
You see the Chargers are just rushing 3. They're dropping 8 in coverage. They're playing their prevent defense. Look how deep the safeties are. Just about off the screen.
1st and 10. Underneath again, Lamar Miller. Grabbed this time by Kyle Emanuel. It is a gain of 5. Oh, and Miller is hobbling off, and Grimes will take his place.
Oh, he got
That's not good.
left ankle got turned on.
That's a bad ankle coming in. 2nd down and 5. Griffin again. Emanuel and Mager were there with the stops with a 12-yard gain, another 1st down, and no timeouts. Spiking, 2nd and 10. Now, Rich, you could get the field goal here.
Right, and then kick an onside kick and
Yes,
still have a chance. In
and
fact,
have a
that's what they're
chance
going to
again.
do. Kevin, you should be a coach. You were way out in front of that. We're always talking about strategy. You were way out in front of that. I was asleep at the wheel. Actually, I just said in my talk back when I said, to remind Kevin of the strategy in this situation.
You saved me again. A 45-yard try here by
It's the right thing to do, though, right?
Yes, I like it.
Give yourself a chance.
Get the points if they can. 45 yards, and that will put on 3 more. Now an 8-point game. It's 21-13. So now you make it interesting with what we assume will be an onside kick. I can't believe there'd be anything else.
You need to get Philip Rivers out there, get the hands team out there. He's got some good hands.
The defense again, though, Rich, the San Diego defense, you're so drawn toward quarterbacking and the splash plays on offense, but the defense forced 3 turnovers, 2 picks, and they held when they had to hold down deep in their own zone.
Yeah, and I think the thing that really stood out to me, Kevin, when we visited with defensive coordinator John Pagano on Friday, he said the one thing we have to do, the thing that's hurt us more than anything, is the big plays. We have to keep the lid on the big plays and minimize those opportunities, and they've done that today. They've kept things in front of them. They've played well. They've rushed the passer. They've kept Blake Bortles off balance, and a nice job tying it in on the back end.
There have only been 3 successful onside kicks this season. league-wide. Novak will try one right here.
Well, they're always a lot more difficult when you know it's coming, and see a couple different approaches. Sometimes they just try and roll it down the middle. Ooh.
It's loose! It's captured by the Texans! They have gotten the ball. Or at least their guy touched it first.
I think Grimes got it, Kevin.
It was Grimes who's missed the last couple games with an illness. He grabs it, the fourth successful onside kick this year league-wide. And look where they've got it at the 40-yard line of the Chargers.
Boy, that was executed perfectly. You got to give Nick Novak some credit. Look at this thing bounce, almost jump off the screen, and Grimes hustling down there to fall on it.
Now, Rich, they've reset the clock to 12 seconds. You have no timeouts and not a lot of room.
You've really got to throw the ball to the end zone. You've got to give DeAndre Hopkins or somebody a chance to go up and make a play. You probably have 2 shots to the end zone with 12 seconds left. Now look at San Diego. They're guarding the boundary. You see these defenders really out here wide. They want to force everything back inside. I think if you're Osweiler, even be able to take the ball and be able to run outside and heave one down the field.
1st and 10. Osweiler deep to the end zone, deflected and incomplete. Looking for Griffin. They had a couple guys back there, Hopkins as well. The jump ball, 3 seconds left.
Watch this block here. I mean, Bosa goes down. He just sits on top of him. That allows Osweiler to come out here, have some time, and be able to make a pretty good throw down the field. You see Griffin there. He goes up for it. Boy, they had a chance. They're going to get one more opportunity here. Really nice job by Dwight Lowry. He's made some big plays here, Kevin, late in the game. I think if you're Bosa, you've got to be able to get upfield. These 2 rushers have to be able to get upfield and force Osweiler to step up inside. Don't allow him to get out on the edge.
Osweiler again with the jump ball and intercepted. Picked off on the play by Dexter McCoyle that seals a San Diego win. It's the 3rd interception by Osweiler, the 4th Texan turnover, and the Chargers go to 5-6. They are alive, winning 4 of their last 6 games after starting the season 1-4. And the Texans in first place will lose their first game at home this season.
Well, Kevin, you got to give them some time. Look, they're not even in the end zone. Look at this. You got to give these guys an opportunity at least to get to the end zone. Osweiler lets go of this ball way too soon. That's just too easy. You've got to give them a chance. That's why you've got to be able to move around and buy some time in the pocket versus a 3-man rush.
21-13 the final.